Hey there, I am Natasha Tony. This is NTC TV, a space for strategic direction for your life and for your brand and business from a spiritual lens. As again, I am your host, Natasha Tony. Welcome. If this is your first time listening or coming to the channel, welcome. If this is another time of yours, you've been here before, welcome back. Thank you for stopping on by again. Let me know in the comments why you decided to come back. What about the content is valuable to you? Today I want to talk to you from the lens of being too close to your brand, to your business, to whatever the passion project that you have, and how being so close is actually what's hurting your ability to create the impact that you are desiring to make. And so I want to start by reading to you a threads that I posted a while back. And it reads, the downside to being a solopreneur is that we're too close to our work. We can easily get into a rhythm of pushing products and services that we want to create versus what will actually create a transformation for someone else. And so I want to talk not from the angle of business and branding per se. I want to talk from the angle of really stepping into a space where we are actually removing ourselves from the work that we do, from the mission that we're on. And I know that probably seems counterintuitive, when you feel like God has placed something on your heart and on your mind, you're trying to figure out how to really make this thing work. And so I want to talk from that lens. But before I do, I want to introduce myself a little bit more. As I stated, I am Natasha Tony. I pretty much concentrate and focus on content, brand strategy for women of faith. I specifically provide one-on-one opportunities, so that means just working in a one-on-one fashion as a consultant and strategist with women of faith who are really feel scattered in their efforts and what they're trying to do, what they're trying to make happen. And so I help them really devise what would be a comprehensive strategy for what they are doing so that they can magnify their message, that they can show up in the marketplace with the clarity, the confidence, the capacity to serve their ideal audience or community, and really to raise their profile, their brand profile, and their impact. And so the topic of being too close to your brand is not a topic that I am not familiar with. It is one that I am all too familiar with. My story began in 2011, where I decided to launch a YouTube channel, and I decided to document a personal experience of mine. I had just went natural, literally cut off all my hair, and I decided to start from the beginning. And so at the time, I was attending a PWI, a predominantly white institute. I was a sophomore in college at the time, and I found the only black hair salon in this predominantly white town. And I decided to cut off my hair. I walked on campus, and of course I received the stares and the amazements and the awes and even the, kind of disapproval stares. And so I just took it upon myself to say, hey, I'm going to document this journey. I want to show people, a year, 2, 3 years from now, what my hair journey has been like since I made this decision. And so I decided to hop on YouTube and start recording videos. By 2013, I had eventually launched a blog, a natural hair care blog, and I eventually developed a platform or brand around this personal journey that I was documenting. And so from there, I decided to position myself not necessarily as just your average person documenting something of theirs personally, but more so as an educator. And I decided to position myself as a natural hair educator. So providing content to help other Black women care for their natural hair and really, embrace their natural hair journey. That had led me to speak on panels, that led me to be in spaces networking with other Black women in the hair care space, that natural hair care space specifically. That has also led me to really open up my eyes to what it means to actually create your impact. When you see how your messaging and how what you're sharing and what you're creating is really helping someone else, it really opened my eyes up to that. And I decided to pivot into other areas of interest. Podcasting, I said blogging. I decided to take it upon myself to write a book, more so a natural hair guide, to again provide spaces to collaborate with other girls or women that look like me. I wanted to be relentless in what it meant to make an impact. So that is my story. And here today, I'm helping other women be relentless, gain clarity, and build confidence, to create their impact in what they feel called to do. But one thing that I have to point out is that it can, at times, get to a point where you start to feel so close to the work that you're doing. I mean, you're embodying the work that you're doing. You are creating the content. You're showing up in doing your best to show up in different spaces. You are doing all of the tactics necessarily. You are playing by all the rules that you have learned from other people, the experts and the gurus and thought leaders in the space. You are doing the best to really execute on what God has placed on your heart and on your mind. But I want to really pause and say, or get you to pause and think, when you're this close to the work that you're doing, to the mission that you're on, to what you're trying to make happen, you can run the risk of, as I stated in my threads, pushing a product, pushing a service, pushing a particular agenda, and not really realize it, and not really know that it's actually in turn hurting or potentially hurting your ability to make the impact that you are desiring to make, and or the impact that you were called to make. And so I have found myself in a space where, as I was pivoting through the journey of like my interest in podcasting, blogging, vlogging, things of that sort, found myself in a space where, because I was creative, because I had certain talents, because there was something that I quote unquote wanted to make happen and do, I found myself only focusing on that, only focusing on, well, I just want to create this book, or I just want to create this resource, and I just want to create this thing, or I just want to create this type of content. And I felt myself getting very selfish and somewhat entitled to the things that I was doing, that I forgot all about why I started doing this in the first place, why I started launching a blog, why I started the YouTube channel, why I was building and positioning myself to be this educator. Like, I felt myself getting away from a lot of that because I got immersed into not only this online space, but just the whole idea of people feeling, very affirmed by the things that was being created, that I was creating. People feeling like seen, people feeling heard, people feeling valued, people feeling like, hey, this is helpful for me, right? And so it was I'm not going to call it like a high. What I am going to call it was an adrenaline rush, just a slight adrenaline rush of feeling like, hey, people need what I'm creating, people need what I have to say. And in my intent of trying to continue to show up and serve, I in turn became a little selfish and entitled. And I started to say, well, now I want to create this, and now I want to do this, and now I want to do that. And it got less about helping other people and more so, how can I receive more accolades, more praise, more, just positive quote unquote responses. And so at one point I literally was just creating stuff just for the sake of creating. Oh, I just want to create this journal. Oh, I just want to create this notebook. Oh, I just want to do this. Oh, I actually want to, build this thing out. Oh, I want to create it. At one point, I wanted to do a creative agency. Oh, I just want to do these things. And it was all just for me to flex on my gifts and talents, but it had less to do about actually helping other people. And that's where I'm trying to drive home here, that you can get so close to the work that you're doing to the point that you are literally just pushing out content, pushing out products, pushing out what you believe to be services that people need. And you have not taken the time to actually, one, ask people what is it that they need? What are people desiring? What is the transformation that they're trying to make happen for themselves, and how can you fill that void for them? And if you're not taking the time to really do your research and to really ask questions and to really get down to like what the heart of the matter is, you will find yourself feeling like, okay, I'm creating all this content, I'm putting myself out there, but nothing, I'm not getting no traction. People are not picking up with what I'm putting down, and that's because it doesn't include them. It's all about you. It's all about what you want to create. Oh, you like these things, so you feel other people are going to like these things. Oh, you feel people need these type of services, so you're going to put, you're going to put these, or you're going to quote unquote market this thing, right? When you realize that it's the total opposite. Maybe they don't need that new resource that you're trying to create. Maybe they don't need that particular service that you're trying to create, right? You feel that they do because you did not take your time to actually do the research and to confirm that, hey, is this what my ideal community needs? Does this align to what the calling is on, over my life? That, like, does this actually align with that? Or is this just me being me and believing like, hey, well, somebody like this thing that I created, they should like this, right? And so one of the things that I do my best when I'm working with women of faith one-on-one is to really help them ID, like, where are they needed in the marketplace? Where are they needed? And when I say marketplace, I literally just mean where are they needed in the world, wherever, online, in real life, just where are they needed, and how can they position themselves in that space through their expertise, through the execution of their God-given ideas that's going to serve the people in that space, that's going to actually bring forth a result or transformation, right? So where are you needed? So the first question was, what is it that people need necessarily, or what is it, what's out here? Like, what are people dealing with? What are issues that's happening? And then two, really taking the time to step back and say, okay, all these things are happening. You're not going to have your hands in every single thing that your audience needs or that your ideal community needs. But where do you fit at? Where can you fill a void for them, right? Looking at your gifts, your talents, and your skill set, where can you say, hey, I can best help this person here? I know we talk a lot online around like niching down and getting specific and things of that sort. And I want to take a different angle here. When you're talking about like your impact and you're talking about like filling a void in the marketplace, niching down is one thing. Yes, getting specific on the ideal person or people that you're trying to serve. But I can promise you, you likely don't need to necessarily niche down anymore. I feel like the online space has drilled that in our heads so much of, you need to get specific on your niche. Niches is where the riches are, and that is true. Like the pockets and the specific areas that you are best at. Yes, it is true. But I think I want to take another angle and really reframe that to say, again, where am I needed necessarily? Not necessarily who are the ideal people that I can serve, but just where am I needed in this marketplace? What voids am I equipped to feel in the space. And that has a lot to do with a more internal approach versus an external approach in terms of like, viewing like, oh, what other people are doing in the marketplace. Like, oh, this person is offering this service. How can I make my service different? Oh, this person is offering this product. How can I make my product different? Like, that's an outward approach. I'm talking about looking inward to say, what has God blessed me with? The knowledge, the skill set, the expertise, the ideas, and where are these ideas needed? Where at in the marketplace am I needed? That takes a different approach than just simply saying, who's my ideal person? What is their age? What is my ideal avatar? And all of these things. Not saying that these things are wrong necessarily. Not saying that these things are wrong, but what I'm saying is reframing and taking a different approach and asking yourself, okay, I have these skill sets. If you recognize the value that you provide, where can you maximize your potential at? Where at in the marketplace? I realized after engaging with a lot of conversations of like women of faith, but just individuals in general, especially in this online space, that I did not want to build the next, or the typical, type of, I guess you would say, coaching service. I didn't want to be someone's coach. Like, I don't want to be someone's coach, although I do feel that there's aspects of the work that is coach-like. I didn't want to be someone's coach. I actually wanted to be more so of that person that supports them in the implementation and the strategizing and the ideation of various things. I wanted to take from that lens or that approach. And so I had to ID, like, okay, where is it that people are struggling with implementing on their ideas? Where is it, or how is it that people are trying to make things happen for themselves? And how do I, with my love and interest and strategy, how do I help them create a strategy to make that happen? Like, I relied more so on the strengths and the expertise and the skill set that God has given me to say, where am I needed in this marketplace? Not necessarily like, what's the next thing to create? What's the next product or services? Or how can I make my service more different and better and things of that sort? No, it's where am I needed? You might like certain things, you might have certain interests, but that does not necessarily mean that other people will too. Where are you most needed in the marketplace? So I truly hope that this helped really break some strongholds around how being so close to your brand can, in some way, shape, or form, limit or cause you not to make the most impact that you can make, because you may get into a space where you start to push more products and services and just produce just any old type of content versus what's actually going to lead people to a transformation, what's actually going to lead people to a result. Yes, you may have started the brand, you may have launched a business, you may have created the newsletter, launched the podcast, whatever, but in turn, how is it creating a transformation, a result for someone else? What strongholds is it breaking? How are you bearing witness? How are you getting people to recognize more of their potential, more of their gifts, more, like whatever your bottom line is, not money, whatever your bottom line is, whatever the mission is that you are on, how can you amplify more of that in content that you create, in the products and services that you build, and just your overall brand presence online and in real life? So again, my name is Natasha Tony. This is NTC TV. I would love for you to hit the subscribe button so that you can catch more of my content as I continue to produce it. In the meantime, thanks for listening. I'll catch you on the next video.